Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome tonight to Don Odell's Legends. My name is Art Tipaldi. I'm the editor of Blues Music Magazine. Check us out online at bluesmusicmagazine.com or go to our Facebook page to check out some of the great deals we have on subscriptions and other merchandise. And tonight we're very special to be a landing spot for his second time in America for British guitar sensation, 20-something Laurence Jones.
Hi.
Welcome, Laurence.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Now, I mean, our viewers need to know, 2014 British Best Young Artist Award.
And 2015.
And then you got it again in 2015.
Yeah.
Wow. So tell our viewers, if you will, what is the British blues scene like? What should we know about it?
Well, it's really thriving at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
We've got so many young players out there who's, inspired by all kinds of great artists, out there, and acts like Walter Trout and Johnny Lang and Kenny Wayne Shepherd come over, and those guys support them as well,
Right. So when you say a lot of, it's a real fervent scene, are we talking about young guitar players, singers?
Yeah, there's a lot of young guitar players out there,
Mm-hmm.
but also a lot of younger bands, and everyone wants to be in a blues rock band out there.
Really?
Yeah, everyone wants to do it. At one point, I think it was about 2010,
Mm-hmm.
there was no one doing it. And then all of a sudden, they've had this big wave of young musicians, which is great.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds a lot like the 60s when there were all those bands that I grew up loving, the Yardbirds and the Stones and John Mayall. What do you think it was then in 2010 that sort of erupted or happened that made this?
Well, we've got a TV show called Jules Holland.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, later with Jules Holland.
Yes.
And they just had some great artists on, like Joe Bonamassa, Eric Clapton,
Mm-hmm.
Loads of different people on there. And it just kind of made it, that's got a young audience, and young people see the blues artists on TV for the first time.
Right.
They think, wow, what is this devil music? I want a piece of that. So young people started getting into the blues, and then young people started playing it.
Right. You were playing it much before then,
Yeah,
though. Right.
yeah.
But back to this, and we'll get to when you started playing. Are there clubs in each little town and city throughout England? I mean, I know in London there's a couple of great clubs, Ronnie Scott and Nothing But. What about it around the country, the suburbs of London? Where do young people go to hear the blues?
Well, the whole country is full of blues clubs. We've been up and down that small, country many a times, but it's always thriving. We're still touring around different venues, considering it's such a small country. And London's a great blues place. They've got, we're doing a gig at the 100 Club.
Okay.
One up there. They've got a great club called the Borderline.
Oh yeah, that's right. The Bonamassa did one of his shows there.
And we're headlining that next year.
Oh, very cool.
So there's loads of different venues. We did the Albert Hall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nice.
So it's nice.
Yeah, because when I see my friends touring in England, it's early in the 2005 to 10, it was a lot of acoustic shows.
Yeah.
Spencer Boren, Doug MacLeod. So I assumed that there were these little tiny churches and little tiny pubs where one of these American bluesmen could play. But it sounds like there's a pretty vibrant club scene.
Well, they've got like the clubs, and then they've got the iconic venues next, and then they've got arenas. And then you'll go back to, and you can find unknown artists in bars or on the street or on the underground.
Right.
So there's just full of music everywhere.
Yeah. Now, when I came into the blues, again, it was through the British invasion bringing blues back to America. It was Stones, Yardbirds, John Mayall, Clapton, mid-60s, The Animals. So I sort of went back to the Robert Johnson, Muddy Waters, and learned. What are British blues musicians learning from? Where are they going back to first?
Well, they're kind of the new younger generation. They're going to modern people.
Okay.
That's like Gary Clark Jr.
Oh yeah.
And that's why it's sounding so fresh.
Right.
Because they don't actually look further back like I have.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when I first got into the blues, I was looking at Eric Clapton, Cream, and I was like, where did he get it from? And Robert Johnson, Big Bill Broonzy.
Nice.
And it just went from there, because I've always been a fan of finger picking acoustic as well, because I started off on the classical guitar.
That's cool.
So that's the first sort of blues that I got into, because I was used to the classical. And then when I plugged in to
So
an
who were some of the other people, like Big Bill Brunsey,
Brunsey, yeah,
Robert Johnson,
John
Hurt?
Yeah, Howlin' Wolf.
Yeah.
You know, then started going electric, like John Lee Hooker, B.B. King, Stevie Ray Vaughan, Jimi Hendrix, and I kept developing and developing.
Right,
And as soon as I found electric, I was like, get me an amp. I'm going to plug into that, make some real noise.
Exactly, yeah. What's the difference as a guitar player then, going from that finger-picking style to an electric? What do you have to be aware of?
Well, the great thing with electric, which I love, is that I don't need to think about anything. I just play whatever comes to me at that time.
Right.
Whereas finger picking, it's just you're the whole band.
Yeah.
You know, if you make a mistake, you're going to hear it. But
right.
But with the electric, I like it because you can get so many new sounds and modern sounds. And for me, the electric really hits me, rather than the acoustic is great, you know.
Yeah.
But it doesn't hit me the same way the electric guitar does.
Yeah. Now you play in a trio format.
Yeah.
What's the advantage of that, a trio format, for you as a guitar player?
Well, my heroes have all been in trios.
Okay.
You know, like Cream,
Yeah.
Jimi Hendrix Experience.
Stevie.
Exactly. So to me, that's a natural sound. I like the way that all the instruments can come together and keep it really simple.
Right.
And on our album, we actually decided just to mainly do it as a trio.
Okay.
Yeah, which is different from the previous albums that we've recorded, because we did lots of overdubs.
Right.
But we wanted to keep it really live.
Cool, cool. In this trio, does it put a lot of pressure and weight on you as the guitar player to carry?
Well, I was thinking about that. I was thinking the other day, what would it be like if I brought a keyboard into it?
Yeah.
I guess I wouldn't play as much, but I've kind of adapted myself to having the trio.
Yeah.
And I'm really well connected with my band as well, so they can hear where I'm going.
Right.
What I like about the trio is we can all kind of jam individually, but come together as one. It's a very strange combination. There's not another kind of band that can do that. You know, you get a keyboard and it becomes very nice.
Yeah.
And arrangement and parts.
Yeah.
What I like about the trio is it's kind of a influence through jamming.
Right, right. That was sort of the format of Cream.
Yeah.
Was that you had? I remember talking to Peter Brown, who wrote a lot of those Cream songs, and he talked about at that time there was a jazz improvisational thing going on in England, and that freed up Jack Bruce and Ginger Baker and Clapton to sort of go and then come together. And you know what, if you bring a keyboard in, it sort of takes a little of the space then.
It does.
The spaces become smaller for each musician.
Yeah, exactly. And the frequencies might get in the way, but it depends how clean you want it to sound. I'm not going for that clean sound. I'm going for that raw, energetic, you know, really gritty sound.
Yeah, yeah. Do you find that, I was going to ask you about the Laurence Jones sound. Is it a raw, gritty sound that you're after?
Yeah, and a modern sound. I'm not trying to copy anyone else. I'm trying to do my thing. I'm being myself, really.
Right.
I don't want to get Stevie Ray Vaughan's guitar tone exactly like it is, like a lot of guitar players try and do. I'll plug into any amp and pedal and I'll just sound like me, so I gave up doing that ages ago.
Yeah. When you're playing or recording, I mean, do you still see a path to a sound? Are you still trying to discover more about your sound?
I'm always trying to discover more about my sound. On this album that we did, I used different guitar pedals and effects. We used like a bass octave on a couple of the songs, and people have come to us and been like, wow, I've never heard that sound before. Right. And we've got a lot of reviews saying that the guitar sounds are very different. So I'm always up for bringing new things to the table, because I believe that if my heroes were still here, like Jimi Hendrix, he wouldn't be still doing the same thing. He'd be looking so much deeper into it. So I'm not trying to go backwards and see what Jimmy was using then. I'm trying to go forwards. Right.
Yeah. So in some ways then it's a quest not to imitate, but to create the Laurence Jones